Hi, everybody. Good evening. It is Monday, October 5th, and it is 7 p.m. on the dot Eastern Standard Time. So, as you come in, as we normally do every week, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you are. Hi, how are you? Let me know where you are. Hi, Twitter. Hi, Twitter. Let me know where you are. Good evening. I'm excited to talk to you guys tonight. A lot has happened over the last week. And so I'm going to talk about those things briefly. I'm not going to dwell on them, but let me know where you are from. Say hi. Good evening, everybody. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know how you're feeling today. I know a lot has happened this past week, and I'm excited to talk about some of those things with you because some of those things don't matter to me, honestly. So I'm not even going to dwell on some of the stuff that's been happening over the weekend. Hi, Canada. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Does that mean I'm like international? Let me stop y'all. Well, it depends. We talk about a lot of different things, but today we're going to talk about what we need to do for ourselves and what we need to do in order to figure out what's happening in this world and how we're going to maneuver in it. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Vanette from Texas. Hi, how are you this evening? When you come in, say hi. Let me know what's going on. I'm excited to talk to you guys tonight. I wrote a couple of notes for those of you guys who follow me. I did go live on Saturday morning, just briefly, and I feel like now is the time I need to expound on what I was talking about on Saturday about preparation and preparing for where we are to go in the job market, in the economy, and everything that's happening. So again, let me know where you're from as you're coming in. I'm going to get started in about a minute, but I like to say hi to everybody, take an opportunity to kind of, say hi, wave my hand, see where everybody is from. Also, too, because some topics that I talk about, depending on where you are, some things may relate, some things may not relate. Luckily, Canada, for you, a lot of this stuff you're not even going to have to deal with because you're in Canada. But I need to get me a dual citizenship for Canada because just in case I need to jump over the border or something, I need to figure out what I need to do that. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Brooklyn. So I need to figure out what I need to do to get dual citizenship for Canada. Since you're in Canada, I need to figure this thing out because the way things are going here in the United States of America, I might need to go over to Niagara Falls or something, or, Montreal or something. I don't know. It is just me, but I feel that there's powerful messages that are being spoken on this live. Oh, to listen, I do whatever God tells me to do. And we talk about whatever God tells me to talk about. And so today we're going to talk about how we're empowering each other so we can get through this. Hi, Alabama. How are you this evening? I'm excited to see you, Sheila. Hi. Come in, say hi, guys. I am streaming from a lot of different places. So Canada is very amazing, although racism does exist here too, sadly. Racism exists everywhere. I do believe that as well, but at least you guys get good health care and good benefits. I'm an HR professional, so I do definitely do a lot of talking about that. So guys, I want to get started tonight since we are, and I just mentioned HR and healthcare. I wanted to talk to you guys about what is happening for 2021. Now, I know what happened this past week. Hey, Virginia. I know what happened this past week with the President of the United States and his amazing health care and all these other things. I get all that. But how does that affect you? So my thing is, I'm not going to sit on here and talk about him all day because he ain't talking about me, because clearly he ain't worried about me. So I want to talk about how the healthcare costs for 2021. As you guys know, people get healthcare from different places. They get it from their jobs. They get Medicaid, Medicare, Obamacare, things of that nature. But healthcare is about to be in a major crisis come 2021. And that's for a lot of reasons. The first reason, of course, is for people who are in the United States. We know the ACA, which is considered Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, is up to go to the Supreme Court the second week of November, which means that there are millions of Americans that could possibly lose their health care who are currently on the Obamacare plan. So that's one thing. And as we know, the president has not given an alternative plan in writing. He has just stated that he has one, but we have not seen it. And I searched for it just in case before this live, and I didn't find one. So that means millions of Americans, I'm sure people that I talk to here on this, even on these lives, are going to lose their health care for that reason. So that's number one. Number two, a lot of people have already lost their health care because they lost their jobs. And you guys know you cannot, COBRA is a lot of money. COBRA basically means that you can continue your health care after you lose your job for a fee. But that fee is usually what your employer pays for the premium, also what you pay towards the premium, and then an upcharge, which is about 2.5% or something. So for an individual to continue their health care with COBRA, it's usually about $1,700 to $1,800 a month to have health care with COBRA if you've lost your job this year. So that's another thing. So far, it's a possibility people will lose their health care by losing Obamacare. Then the next thing is people are losing their health care or already lost their health care because they've lost their jobs. Then on top of that, if you are fortunate to have a job, healthcare costs are going up for 2021. So right now, your employer is probably negotiating bids because bids are coming back. What happens basically is when your employer does, before they do open enrollment, your employer sends out bids to different insurance companies to see who is going to give them the best quote for the number of employees they have and the number of claims that they've had. So for instance, if you work at an employer, I'm going to use a manufacturing company for 2020. If you work at a manufacturing company for 2020, and we all know a lot of these manufacturing companies had a lot of COVID cases, it's a possibility that your employer, when they go to get renewal for health insurance, their premiums are going to go up, which is definitely not their fault. But then what's going to happen is the employer has to make a decision as to whether or not they can pay the extra money or you're going to pay the extra money out of your paycheck, which means less money in your paycheck if they decide to push those costs off to you. And unfortunately, a lot of employers, because of the uncertainty of budgets for 2021 or money's coming in, whether they're profit or nonprofit, are making the decision to push those additional costs off to employees. So what that means is less money in your check. So I'm saying all of this to say right now we're in a healthcare crisis, and I'm not just talking about the pandemic. I'm talking about your healthcare. That's why it's important that you vote and that you know what's happening in the world, because as we speak, people are just like, oh, well, I'm not on Obamacare, so I don't have to worry about that. But you do have to worry, because as your employer goes up to renew their policies are going up, which means those costs are going up, which means there's a possibility that you are going to have to pay those costs. Didn't the government pay for COVID-19 patients? Honey, let me tell you about this government. Let me tell you about this government. They paid for testing for a period of time. If you notice, the president said a few months ago that if it was less testing, there would be less cases, and that maybe we should stop testing people so then it will be fewer cases. That's what the president said. It's on tape. So I say that to say claims are going to people's private insurances, whether it's through your employer, your spouse's employer, or whatever the case may be. So let's be honest, the government ain't really paying for nothing. That's why people still sitting since April waiting on a second stimulus check, and you're not getting it. Hey, Florida, y'all better go out and vote. Vote Florida. So I am saying that to say, don't wait for the government to give you something, because they're not. And especially if we don't go out and to vote and we end up getting 45 again, then you're really not going to get nothing. And to reelect an impeached president, what do you think is going to happen? So unfortunately, these are things that are going to happen, whether we like it or not, as far as the rising costs in healthcare. Now, I've heard all of these, oh, if I get elected, this is what I'm going to do for healthcare. This is what I'm going to do for prescription drugs. By the time that happens, regardless of who gets elected, we're going to be well into 2021, 2022, regardless of whoever. Hey, New York. Hey, Jersey. So regardless of whoever is in office. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying to you to, one, be prepared, because there's a possibility that your healthcare is going up, whether you pay out of pocket or not. Or if you have Obamacare, you're probably going to lose it. So you need to now try to figure something out. Medicaid, y'all already know it's hard to get Medicaid. So that's a whole nother story for another day. So I'm not even going to go into that. But I wanted to make sure I mentioned that, because those are some of the things that people are not talking about that's going to hit your pocketbook. And you guys know, if I don't talk about nothing, I'm going to talk about something that's going to hit your pocketbook. So that's number one. Number two, I wanted to talk about, because of the social justice issues in the United States, a lot of companies are now doing pay equity audits. And I want to explain what a pay equity audit is. Basically, they're saying, I don't want to call out any companies, but I'm going to use a company that has 5,000 employees, just say for instance. And this company pays white people one amount, white men something, white women something, black men something, black women something. So now companies are saying, hold up, oh my God, we possibly been doing things unfairly. So now we're going to have an audit to see how we're paying people. That's great. It's absolutely great. The problem is that right now, the only state that has instituted that as a law is California. California is usually the first when it comes to employment law. They usually are always the cutting edge. They always do things first. So I say that to say, since California has signed that into law, I'm sure it's coming down the pike, which is a win for us if we can get companies to actually do it. If it's a law, and that's private companies. I'm not just talking about I'm talking about private companies. Because, these private companies, if they're not on the stock market, the Fortune 500 or whatever, they're not reporting salaries. Now laws are going to affect. And like I said, California is first that is saying, no, we want to see what you're paying your employees based on race, gender, and see if people are being paid equitably based on positions, based on years of experience and things of that nature. So this is a good thing. And I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware, because it's coming down the pike. This is something, because these social justice issues, regardless of who's president, are going to be around for a long time. What's that question? How long do you think it would take to be universal? I don't know, because every state is different. And also too, we all know the states that are more conservative kind of take their time with doing things. And so I say that to say, just kind of be on the lookout, look and see what's happening, because companies, especially right now in California, are being mandated to do these audits. So I'm really excited about that, because again, we know that I'm just mad because black women are paid like 67 cents on the dollar compared to white men. So white men are paid $1, and black women who have the same qualifications or probably more, but because we're women and because we're black, are only paid 67 cents. That's a problem for me. So I'm always watching those things. So as states kind of grab hold, the next state that will probably do it is New Jersey. Usually California and New Jersey kind of follow suit. New York is maybe, but they don't move as fast as some of the other states. So I just wanted to make sure I talked to you guys about that. California also passed a law. That's why I said I love California. I just can't live there because they're too expensive. But they're aiming to get more minorities on corporate boards, which is awesome because it's hard to get on a corporate board. If you notice, most of our Black and brown people who are on boards, a lot of them are on nonprofit boards. And so with that, of course, you don't get paid, you don't get any perks or any stocks or any benefits and all of that other stuff. So I say that to say, go California. Y'all doing it. So again, they're trying to recruit more minorities for corporate boards. So for an example, if the corporate office for Pepsi is in California and they're looking across their board and they notice that there's not a diverse board, they are seeking out diversity on their boards and seeking out minorities. So it's not just Black, Black, Asian, Puerto Rican, anything that to try to get some diversity on these boards. So I think that is so awesome. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that this is something that's going to go across. The question was, what do you think will happen after the equity audit? Will people reimburse? I hope so, because I'm sure I'm owed a lot of money. I hope so. I'm sure I'm owed a lot of money. I really don't know. That is something, and honestly, I need to deep dive into the California law because I'm wondering if they've already implemented something as to how that's going to work. So I'm just excited about it because although all of this is happening, and I'm not saying that people are not going through things, y'all, I ain't on coke or nothing. It's just that my nose was itching. So I don't want y'all to think I do drugs because then that'd be the new thing. So I can't do drugs because I can't afford no drugs like that. They cost too much money. That's why I don't smoke cigarettes, because they cost too much money too. So I just want to make sure I said that. So I'm really excited about some of those things that are happening, that are coming because of the unrest. Because let's be honest, if George Floyd wasn't killed on camera, people wouldn't be talking about this. I'm just glad that his murder, because it was a murder, is not in vain. Yes, I have allergies. Thank you. Because I have allergies. No matter what time of year, I have allergies. So I wanted to make sure that I said that. I'm just really excited about it. But I also wanted to talk to you guys about how to prepare, because I mentioned on Saturday, regardless of who wins the election, because we all putting our eggs in the Joe Biden basket, basically. However, even if he wins the election, there's a lot that is going to happen even after that. People are going to be very upset. You already know people are already walking down streets with guns around their necks and they're hanging people from trees. You don't really hear about it unless you deep dive into some of the local state news. And so I say that to say we need to be prepared for what's to come. If you're in the New York area, Governor Cuomo has already stated that there's a possibility that New York may go back to phase 1. For that we're in COVID, basically meaning complete shutdown, only grocery stores or whatever. There's a possibility because the COVID numbers are going up. Of course, it has already been said by numerous scientists that as we get ready to go into a colder season, that COVID numbers are going to spike back up. So when COVID numbers spike back up, and they decide to go down phases and take us back down, that also means, guys, that people are going to lose their jobs. So if you were called back to work and you're fortunate, there's a possibility that you may be laid off again. Now, the only difference between then and now, if you notice, the Republicans and the Democrats were on the same team at that time. Like, oh my God, it's a tragedy. We have to do something for the people. And even though they only gave $1,200, they did something for the people. And they gave that extra $600 a week for people who are on unemployment. You guys know that expired, I believe, July 31st. People ain't they were supposed to get $400. I still don't know if people got that, because people are telling me they didn't, or they waiting because of course, the way President Trump signed the executive order. So what happened in March was approved by Congress and the Senate. the $600 and the stimulus. What happened in July, August that President Trump signed was an executive order. So basically, the Congress and the Senate didn't agree on giving you $400 or $600, even though you're unemployed. So they didn't agree upon that. Also, too, if you know anything about the government, I believe the Congress is out right now until after the election, which means they are not doing any work until after the election. The Senate goes back around the 19th of this month or so or whatever. And that's because, they pushing those hearings through for the Supreme Court justice. I'm saying that to say it's a possibility for those of you who are waiting for a stimulus or you're hoping they talk about unemployment. It is not going to happen anytime soon. And honestly, depending on what happens with the election, number one, we are not going to have definite election results on Tuesday, November 3rd. You need to understand that. We're not going to know who the president of the United States is at that time. It may take us days after the election to know who that is. And even after that, it is going to be chaos because, of course, and that waiting is going to be anxiety. It's going to be chaos. They're going to say people stealing. It's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. So I say that to say, what are we going to do? Me and you. What are we going to do now that we know all of this is happening? What are we going to do? That's right, Carla. Folks, the Senate is extremely important. When you vote, please remember who's running in those Senate seats. Exactly. I want to shout out South Carolina because y'all are gangster down there. South Carolina, if y'all don't do nothing else, I need y'all to vote Lindsey Graham up out of there. Just because he ain't doing nothing for South Carolina. Period. I am so happy for Jamie Harrison. He ain't even win yet, but I'm happy that he even has a chance to win. So I need y'all to vote early. I need y'all to go out and flood and vote. Y'all are already donating at astronomical numbers, which is awesome. But I need you to vote this man in office. I need you to turn South Carolina from red to blue. Please. If for no other reason, it's because Lindsey Graham is not doing anything for South Carolina. What he doing in regards to that Senate seat and all that other stuff and him lying and everything, that's who he is. But the fact that he is not doing anything for South Carolina should be a problem for you. So I'm telling y'all, vote, vote, vote. Get him up out of here. Please. If you don't do nothing else, get him up out of there. I would be happy with that too. So yes, it's very important that you guys vote, that you don't just vote for the president, that you go all the way down the line, that you pick who you're voting for. And make sure that you're voting not just in a presidential election, but every election, because that's why we in this mess, because people don't vote every election. And that's why the Senate is run by the Republicans now. And that's why they're doing what they want to do. So what I talked about Saturday when I talked about preparing for the future, because some of us are really distracted with what's happening with the president and his COVID diagnosis. I'm not going to talk about that. Y'all should know what this means. Not going to talk about that. But I will say that it is what it is. So I'm not going to talk about that. I don't wish nothing on nobody because you reap what you sow. So I'm not wishing nothing on nobody. That ain't my job. I'm not the judge and jury. All I'm going to say is you make sure that you're not distracted with what's happening in the media, on Facebook, and on the news. Do not be distracted. Be determined to do what you need to do for you and your house and your community. So number one, what you need to be doing right now is you need to be stocking up. Why? Because if states go back down to phase one, you ain't gonna be able to find no tissue. You're not gonna be able to find no Lysol wipes. You're not gonna be able to find a lot of things. So I am saying now, while you got freedom, You need to go stock up. You also need to make sure you have food and water in your house. Enough, I would say, to try to get through a month or so. Granted, the supermarkets may be open, but y'all know last time, for those people who had to wait on lines and doing all of that, that's a lot. And especially now that it's about to really get cold, that's a lot to be doing. So while you have time right now, go and stock up your house and do what you need to do. Whatever you have to do that now. Also, and I talked to you guys about this 2 years ago, and I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep beating a dead horse. For those of you who still have some type of income coming in, and whoever's listening to me, if you could type this in for me, I would appreciate it. CreditCheckTotal.com. CreditCheckTotal.com. You need to go on there, pay $1, cancel your membership after. You need to know what your real credit score is in this season. You also need to know what is on your credit report now, because as you are preparing for 2021, you do not want it to be where you need something and you don't have anything but your name, because credit is your name. Credit is your integrity. Credit is your character. I'm not saying people don't have issues. I'm not saying that anybody that's listening to me for a long time, y'all know my story. I filed bankruptcy over 10, 11 years ago. Everybody black I told me, don't do it. It's going to ruin your life. That was the best decision I ever made. I couldn't pay those bills. They were out of control. And my husband, but then fiance, told me, no, before we get married, we need to be debt free. So he said, I love you, but we need to be debt free. So he paid off all of his bills and I filed for bankruptcy. So when we got married in 2010, we both had 0 on our credit reports. So what I'm saying to you is, after December 31st of 2020, if we're still in negative returns, and I may be saying the term incorrectly, right now, the United States of America is in a recession, period. No matter what they say about that stock market, we're in a recession, according to economic definition of what a recession is. We've already had 2 negative quarters this year. We just finished the third, and we're getting ready to go into the fourth. The third quarter ended September 30th. If we have one more negative, we will officially be in the second Great Depression in the United States of America. What does that mean? That means there's a possibility that the housing market is going to go crazy, which means if you want to buy a house that may be $350 now, maybe $150 next year. A house that may be $200 now, maybe $80 next year. What am I saying? Look at your credit now. This is especially if you want to own something. If you want to own your own home, if you want to own a rental property, all of these other things, don't wait until it starts going crazy and then try to jump in. You need to be prepared to jump in. So look now and see what your credit is. Let me explain something else to you too, because everybody, FHA. The federal, I forgot what FHA means. Somebody can look it up. But most people who are minorities or whatever, there's conventional loans, there's FHA loans for housing. I'm not going to go deep in that, but I just want to share with you. Prior to COVID, to buy a home with an FHA loan with only 3.5% down, you only needed a credit score of 580, I believe. That's chump change. 580. If you ain't got at least a 580 now, then it's crazy. You really do need help. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm just calling it what it is. Since COVID hit, houses are on the market like crazy. People are buying. However, the approved credit score now for FHA went from 580 to 640. So now, in order to buy a house with FHA, prior to March was 580. Now it's 640. So you need to find out what your score is, because what's going to happen is if the housing market tanks or something happens with housing next year, or you just so happen to get blessed and you come into some money and you want to buy a house, you're not going to be able to, because you need credit score. Period. I don't care how many grants are out there. I don't care what people tell you, you need credit score. The housing market went belly up when Obama first came president and the home prices were excellent. Exactly. Y'all remember 2008 wasn't even as bad as what it is now. Don't wait until houses start dropping out the sky and then you trying to scramble and get yourself together. Because let me explain something to you. If you got credit score, because that's the one thing you got to have is the credit score. They could probably find grants and stuff for you, even if you ain't got no money, but you need credit score. So what I'm saying to you is definitely go on that website. It's in there, creditchecktotal.com. Find out what your score is. And especially if you want to be a homeowner, start preparing. Hey, Sabrina, if you don't know anything else in this season, pay the consultation fee for Dr. C to point you in the direction you need to go. I did, and baby, I did the work and it's paying off. Oh, thanks, Sabrina. I was mad a couple of months ago and I told people if they pulled their credit reports, I would do consultations with people because I'm passionate about credit. First of all, y'all, I'm not a credit counselor or anything like that. It's just that I learned this in my journey of how to repair my credit, how to fight things on my credit report and things of that nature. I learned that in my journey. And I hate that these credit repair agencies are taking people's money and charging them $100 a month, $200 a month for something. If you sit down 2 or 3 hours and do yourself, you'll pay for stamps and envelopes. That's pretty much it. And so we are quick as a people to try to pay people to do something for us without going through the process. And then when it happens again, you don't know what to do. And so Sabrina was one of my clients who I met with a couple of months ago. It was a consultation fee, only $50. I didn't ask for her credit report. We pulled it up on Zoom. She pulled it up. She shared screen, and I basically advised her on what to do to fix her credit. Simple, easy. It took less than 30 minutes. And she had to pay $150 a month for 7 months with Lexington Law and all of these other pop-up, I'm going to fix your credit repair places. And then the person who's saying they're going to fix your credit, they credit jacked up. So, I mean, I tried to recommend people to places because there's some people who really do need assistance. However, the prerequisite was I needed to see their credit score, because I'm not going to recommend people to somebody because you say you credit repair and your credit score is a 400, but you saying you helping people. That means that's false advertisement because you ain't even helping yourself first. So I digress on that. Thanks, Sabrina. But get your credit scores together. Look them up. Again, if you don't know what it looks like and you're having problems and issues, you can contact me. It's pretty simple. And honestly, as a people, we need to learn this stuff for ourselves. And usually, and everybody I've met with in that season when I was real mad, it was simple things to do to fix it. It was simple things because it's not that hard to do. And a lot of people honestly don't know what they owe. I seen somebody's report. They only owe like $1,300. What's $1,300? That's not a lot of money, but their credit score is like 400 and something because they owe $1,300. So I'm like, okay, this is what you got to do. Clean that up. You got $1,300, right? And then I said, you've owned them for so long, negotiate a rate, end up paying $700 and get your score back. And they can delete it off your report without you having to pay somebody a dime. I'm just telling you, this is the season to do it. You could do it on your own. Like Dr. C said, I said, it's not hard. Just do the work. Exactly. We got to stop this. I want the hookup thing because that's just not going to work. The next thing is, and how much time I got? Good. The next thing is I want to talk to you guys about is jobs. As we're preparing for 2021, I told a lot of you guys on previous lives, if you're in a service job, you work at a fast food restaurant, like basically most of the people who got shut down in the beginning of the shutdown, like you have to have interaction with people in order to do your job. I'm saying this because it's necessary. And I know as Black and brown people, especially, we love helping people. I just want to help people. I want to be in a profession that I help people. Well, I'm telling you right now, you need to find a backup. You need to find the backup because a lot of these service jobs will be gone. And if a lot of them are going to be gone next year, especially if you're like a waitress, they're going now. But if you're like a waitress or you're a bartender at a restaurant as well, a lot of these jobs are already gone and they're not coming back. As we move forward between these drones and between drones and a couple of other these things. And if you guys have a Stop and Shop in your area, you know they got the little electronic robot that now mops the floors. So I'm saying that to say it is definitely important that you find something to fall back on. When people get laid off, sometimes it's difficult to get any important paperwork. I try to check my information once a year, at least my job, usually date of birth, the month. Exactly. A lot of stuff that I do it around my birthday too. Like I do all my annual physicals around my birthday, my mammogram, and I also check my credit around my birthday. But that's because too, my birthday's in the beginning of the year. My birthday's in February. So I do everything around that time too, because it's something that I normally do. And I don't care how great your credit is. One thing can come, and if you're not monitoring it, one thing can come and knock you totally out. And so, like I said, please just check. If you're in a service job, like I said, if you lose your job tomorrow, I'm just using this example. What do you have to fall back on? Now is the time for you to stir up those gifts and those talents that you have, that you kept saying you wanted to do things. You wanted to be an entrepreneur. You saw yourself doing this. You saw yourself doing that. These are the things now that you need to really be working on. I say that because you do not want to be in a situation where just in March, people literally just got laid off like flies. And a lot of people still haven't gotten their jobs back. You don't want to be that person. So you need to, one, get comfortable with the computer. And I'm not just talking about your cell phone. Get comfortable with the computer. If you're having issues with technology, start looking now at courses online. You can look at the community colleges so you can become familiar with computers. Also, if you don't have a laptop at home, you need to get one. I don't care what you need to do to get one. You need to get one. It could be refurbished. You could check on Amazon, get a Chromebook, whatever you need to do. I say that because the wave of the future is this. They're not going to want to hear, oh, I don't know how to do that. They're not going to want to hear you need your daughter to do your application. They're not going to want to hear that. We got to stop making excuses for not doing and not coming up to a level. It can't just be, I'm not comfortable with computers. I didn't do computers in school because nobody did iPhone in school. I'm 40-something years old. I ain't never had no iPhone, but I learned it because I wanted an iPhone. I wanted to take selfies and I wanted to be on Snapchat. How much money do you suggest a person should have in their nest egg? The rule of thumb, they say, is 6 months of emergency funds, 6 months of your expenses. That's what they say. I know it's very hard for people. Very, very hard for people because a lot of people have 2 and 3 jobs just to make it for 1 month. But economists say, and financial planners and things say that you should try to have at least 6 months of emergency money. If you got that, dang, that's nice. But I know a lot of people who don't. So that's what they're saying. But again, get out of your comfort zone and learn technology. Learn it. If you don't have a bank account, debit cards, and all that other stuff, get yourself together and get your bank accounts and stuff in order. Because they already saying they only take exact change. What are you going to do when they say they don't take no money at all? I'm just saying. Because you know some places during COVID want to take your money. We're still in COVID, but y'all know what I mean. They want to take your money. They ain't want to touch your money. They was like, what's your card or Apple Pay or something like that. So I say that to say for those of us who are a little more stubborn and don't want to become technology driven, you're going to have to be. You're going to be forced to. These are the same people. Think about it. You didn't want to leave the 8-track, but they made you leave the 8-track and you had to go to cassettes. You didn't want to leave cassettes, but then they made you leave cassettes and you had to go to CDs. It's the evolution of time. It's the evolution of the future. I'm telling you, it took me a long time to leave CDs because I had them all organized in alphabetical order in the big binder so I could flip through them and see them. And my husband was like, who carries CDs? And he bought me my first what's the iPods? Yeah, iPods. He was like, no, you can put all your music on here. And I was like, what? It still took me a minute to get over that because I had all my CDs in alphabetical order. I had them stacked up. I had my favorites. I was even making CDs of my favorite songs. But I had to change. I had to come up because at the end of the day, they stopped making cars with cassette players. A lot of cars now, my car doesn't have a CD player. My car has what's that called? An aux. Or actually, too, now I have Apple Play and all that in the car. What am I saying to you? Don't wait until you're forced to change when you could start working on that stuff and changing now. So again, get yourself into a technology class. If you don't learn nothing, learn how to navigate the internet on a computer because you can't do everything on your cell phone either. Everything isn't mobile ready. So get this stuff in order now while you can. Don't wait. Also, too, and I wanted to talk about those of you, my CD players in my club. Remember the Walkmans, y'all? You couldn't tell me nothing. Walking around with your Walkman with your cassette in, and then you had to carry the DVD players and all that. Now people will laugh at you if they see you with that. They'll laugh at you, and that wasn't too long ago. So I'm just saying that to say you're going to be forced to change. So why not prepare yourself now before you're forced? Because I don't care how long you hold on to it. For those of you who have a flip phone, you can barely get those service now. I don't care how long you hold on to it. Eventually, it's going to be phased out. Also, too, I wanted to, and you guys know sometimes I go on a rant in regards to women, especially because I am a woman. But a lot of us, of course, I am working from home. You guys know. I also have a 6 and a 7-year-old, so I'm teaching. They've been home remote since March. And I want to talk about the fact that I know some people are doing hybrid right now. Some people are fully remote in their home and things of that nature. But ladies, this is going to be one of the most difficult seasons for mothers who don't have balance. So I am dedicating some time, and I posted a little while ago. I'm just trying to come up with some dates. I'm going to be doing some life classes on Zoom because I need it to be in smaller groups. So it'll probably be groups of like 12 to 15 women. And to try to teach balance as we're going through this. Because again, a couple of the schools already, you're going to be home with your kids. I'm not even going to go into that. Bottom line is no matter where you are, you're going to end up being home with your kids. So if you are a single parent, you home with your kids 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you trying to work or you're trying to do whatever, we need balance. And we're going to need strategies on how to balance our lives and not lose ourselves in this pandemic. You guys know I go to therapy. I need a session. I haven't been in a few weeks, but I plan on scheduling a session. I do therapy on Zoom with my therapist to keep my mind in check, basically to keep me together. Because at the end of the day, there's so much that as women we're balancing that it's hard to take care of yourself. You're feeling overwhelmed. And so I say that to say there will be some classes coming up that I'm going to be doing, like I said, in groups of 12 to 15. where I'm going to be giving out strategies on how to balance your life, how to actually, there are a lot of women, and I talked about it, who need to make career changes, don't know what path to go, don't know what to do. I will be doing those sessions as well. I can't do those on live like I talk to you guys on Mondays, because those are more in depth. I really need to hear people's heart. I need to hear what they're passionate about. I need to hear about what they're doing. And I just want to make sure. Hi, how are you? I just want to make sure that I'm giving people the attention that they need in order for me to do that. And so, again, if you're interested, you can shoot me an inbox. I'm looking to possibly do my first virtual classes in November is what I'm looking at. And I'm probably, depending on, and I'm going to split people up into groups just so you guys are aware, because there are certain groups that need certain things. People need therapy, but they refuse to try it. Therapy helps. I'm telling you, I would have lost my mind, literally, if I didn't have therapy and God and therapy, God and therapy. I'm telling you right now, the two go together. So I would have lost my mind. So I'm grateful for my therapist. I'm grateful for my relationship with God, because honestly, I wouldn't have made it through. You wouldn't be talking to me today if it wasn't for those two things. So I will be doing that. So look out for that. Again, if you're interested, you can shoot me an inbox on any page that you're looking on. I'm streaming to a few pages: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're listening. If you're interested in some of those classes, because what's going to happen, especially for us, is there's not a lot of resources out there for us to help us. And again, I'm not talking about nobody else. I don't know anything about anybody else's experience. So I'm not trying to come for any other, race or religion or anything of that nature. It's just that I know that as a Black woman, I only can speak about my experience, that there's not a lot of resources for us to get what we need, and for people to have the sympathy and the empathy needed to understand our struggle. Black women have been beaten, we've been raped, we've been left alone, we've been abandoned, we've been rejected. And to this day, we still deal with those issues, and no one comes to our rescue. But we still gotta maintain, we still gotta keep the family together, we still gotta feed these kids. I'm sorry, y'all, I get real passionate about it. But at the end of the day, that's why it's so important that as women, we build community amongst each other to build each other up, so then we can still maintain. Because regardless of what's happening out there in this world, we already know the backbone of this nation is on mothers, is on women. And I'm not talking about just mothers who birth children, because that's not it. There are a lot of women who've never birthed a child, and they're better mothers than some women who have. So let's really talk about that. So again, if you're interested, I'm just trying to figure out some dates, because I'm gonna have to split people up in groups. Because like I said, again, I can't have 500 people in the same group. And, I'm just not able to do that. I really, truly want to hear people. And then, of course, I do individual sessions and stuff like that. But I know I'm definitely led right now to do some group sessions for people. What happened? You have to act like it never happened. Life continues for us. You preach it. We gotta just keep going. We can't take a break. We can't woosah. You can't take a moment. We just gotta keep pushing. We gotta be strong Black women. We gotta support the Black man. I'm telling you, it's a whole, So I plan on doing a whole life class series just on that. And not just being me, I have some connections with some awesome therapists who are dear, close friends of mine that I want to bring into those sessions, so we can really have some real, raw, and relevant conversations about what it means to be a woman in America. And like I said, I can't give that to everybody live. Yes, there's going to be a fee for that. I'm not giving that for free, because I'm asking people, clinicians and things of that nature, to come in so we can have these raw conversations. So again, if you're interested, you could definitely inbox me. and we can have that conversation. My last point is, and y'all see, I be putting notes in my cell phone based on what the Lord give me for the day, because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. The last thing I want to talk about, and it really has to do with the groups, is the importance of relationship. A lot of us have lost a lot of people during this time. A lot of people, whether it was intimately in your circle or just hearing things. And so I don't want this to be the season where I can't deal with her. I don't need no friends. I could do this by myself, because that's really not true. And all of us need somebody. We need somebody. So I say that to say, let's just make sure that we're being intentional about our relationships in this season, that you're really connecting to people who want the best for you, who are pushing you to do things that you've never done before, because this is really the time. Everybody's distracted with what's going on with 45 and all this other stuff. This is really the time to do everything you ever thought that you could not do. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. And you don't want it to be where another year goes by and you're not doing exactly what you really want to do, what you're really passionate about. And I really had to learn that for myself. Like, I am so passionate about educating people. I'm so passionate about pushing people to their next, that for a season, I wouldn't even talk. Like how I'm talking to y'all now, like I wouldn't even talk. And I wouldn't talk because I felt like people didn't value what I had to say. And it's not that you needed to do what I said. It wasn't that. But you know that sometimes you're in circles and you put yourself in positions where you're thinking bigger than the people you're around. And so I had to go through a season not too long ago. This was literally just last year, where I said, I don't want to talk. I don't want to open my mouth. I don't want to say nothing, because every time I say something, people say this and people say that. And so I just want to encourage you on today, because while you're sitting listening to me, you're listening to me because I had to make a change. And I had to say, no matter who I think won't listen to me, there are people who need me. And so I want to just say to you today, there are people who need you. And it may not necessarily be on this live thing. You may not do one single video. It may just be interaction with people. It may just be your family. It may be just your children. It may be your girlfriends that y'all do the little house parties on, the cell phones or whatever. But at the end of the day, somebody needs you, and they need you to be at a level. They need you to step into what you're supposed to step into. Because a lot of times we don't do things because we don't think that, and I could just speak for myself. Like there's a lot of things I did not do because I felt like, what was the point of doing them? Like, what's the point? Why I'm burning myself out? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? They don't appreciate me. They don't value what I have to say. They, whatever. And I honestly had to have a come to Jesus moment. And it was like, it's not about them. You making it about them, but it's not about them. It's about the people I need you to get to. And so I want to encourage you, because there's a lot of women who we have a lot of closed mouths. And I don't know if whoever's going to listen to this later, like, tag, and share with your girlfriends, with anybody that you're thinking about. There are a lot of women who don't say nothing. They are hurting. Their hearts are hurting. They don't say anything. And they don't say anything because they feel like the minute they open their mouth, it's either going to be an attack on them or people are not going to understand. And I just want to encourage you, just in my own life's journey, to open your mouth. Speak what you need. Demand what you need. And honestly, if the people in your little circle don't get with it, and they don't understand your vision, they don't understand what you want to do, then guess what? God will give you people who are going to understand. It's going to be people you never thought about, people you never met in person. It's going to be amazing. And I say that because we all have purpose. We are all here for a reason. And like I said, you may not be doing Facebook Lives and all that other stuff, but you may touch that girl who's a single mother and you were a single mother. And now you can kind of help her and tell her, you know what? I understand that you 23 years old and you trying to homeschool and do all of that, but it's going to be okay. Open your mouth. Don't allow this season to have you, because again, as women, like I say all the time, we already got so much going on here. But it's like, I can't quit, because if I quit, what's going to happen? If I do this, what's going to happen? If I do this, this is going to fall apart. And you guys know I'm married. I'm happily married. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm a woman. And there are things that as women we deal with that men have no idea. Because we're the ones who got to keep it together. So what I'm saying to you today is don't no longer be silent. Like we're telling people to vote. Your vote has a voice, but your mouth also has a voice. So don't no longer sit around and you trying to figure it out and you feel like people don't understand and, you know, people hating on you, because let's be for real, those things happen. But at the end of the day, their lives that you have to change. Their lives that you are going to encounter that you have to speak into. So this is not the time to be quiet. It's too much going on in this world. Don't be quiet. So that's my tidbit and my talk with you guys for today. I try to stay on only an hour because, like I said, I got a husband, so I don't get but so much time with y'all. I just declined 2 video calls. Ha! Thank you. But again, ladies, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's do what we got to do. Let's not die with purpose. Let's do what we want to do in this season. Life is short, as we can see. So I love you guys. Again, if you're interested in the life classes that's coming up, please make sure to inbox me. You guys can follow me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on everywhere at Coach Sharon. You guys can find me there. I love you guys so much. I'm truly, 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 truly grateful that you guys listen to me weekly. And there go a kid. So he already knows my time is up. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.